For women, it's more difficult to, after a conversation, or especially when it was a difficult conversation or where they had kind of a disagreement, to let it go. Because it's always said that men are more easily can disagree in the office and then afterwards just walk to the coffee machine and say, well, we didn't agree, but well, you're still a good lad, and that's fine. And next time we'll just work together the same way as we did. But for women, it's more difficult to let it go and to not take it personally. Maybe it's the more pleasing way. I don't know if what's the reason behind it. Probably more than one reason behind it.
We're really emotional, which is
Yeah.
something that is good, like I feel like the energy, and it's really good that this is coming up now because, for example, the event that I'm organizing this Saturday here in Dubai, it's about celebrating Women's Day, and there will
Yeah.
be speakers speaking about the feminine energy in business and
Hmm.
how male energy is different from female energy. Because if you
Yeah.
think about, and I was watching this on a video the other day, the male energy in business is more like broad. For example, Amazon. We think about Jeff
Hmm.
Bezos. Jeff Bezos is like broad, like a million units, a million offices all around the world.
Yeah.
It's like million units, like broad business. But if you think
Yeah.
about energy, feminine energy in business, it's more like Coco Chanel, which is curated items, less,
Uh-huh.
better quality, and then higher prices. It's more like premium. Recognizing that we are different in business environment and in work environments, it's actually something that acknowledging it makes us able to take this and work this on our favor.
Yeah.
So, for example, the other day my business partner, and he was telling me how important it is to when there is a woman in the room. Like there could be a lot of men doing businesses in there, but then a
Uh-huh.
lady walks in and the energy changes. It
Yeah.
facilitates things.
Yeah.
It opens up channels,
Uh-huh.
different ways to do things. And I think that we as women have to take this on our favor and create this situation in leadership positions. And
Yeah.
recognize as well when we need support from a colleague or from women or male. We are living in a society which is just like a big puzzle, and that most of the times you can't do everything alone, and you shouldn't.
Yeah, true. And I think I love the analogy with a puzzle, and you just don't know the whole picture. You just have just one piece, and you have to find where it fits. But it does fit in the end perfectly with other pieces around you once you found them, and that's truly amazing. Yeah, I was just thinking. I wrote a chapter in a management book last year about compassionate leadership, and it's also embracing it's not that it's the female way of working, but it's what I think it's what we are heading to as a more in corporates, more and more, I guess, because people are craving for it. Is that leaders who um, how do you say that, really trust their team. And as a leader, you just you give away the power. You just dare to do that but you're still in control. And that's the kind of the uh, compassionate leadership in my opinion. And I've worked in at least two companies where it was really well in place. You can call it kind of the female way because it's more trusting than then I would say the male way of leading is more, well, at least it used to be more that dominating, like I'm the leader, I'm in control, I take here I'll deliver the orders, I take the decisions, and it's my thing. Instead of compassionate leadership is just giving away not the power, but at least the decisions to the people who are able to make decisions. Like if you have a team, there are experts in your team which know things you as a leader don't know, but still you have to trust them. And if you can do that, that's the real power. And that's the collaboration you will seeking. And I think women are really good in that, in the collaboration and making connections with people. It's not that exclusively for women, but it's the what you say. What I love, and you mentioned balance in leadership. It's the yin yang, right? It's the female touch, but it's also the male energy, which is coming together. And yeah, that's what we need. It's not the only the deal male dominating, but also not only the women, like, oh, we just collaborate and we do everything together. No, there needs to be someone who takes decisions and who's responsible, but it's together, and that's the yin yang, and it's the balance which you want
Yes.
to
Yes, and
incorporate.
you said something like key, which is trust,
Yeah, yeah, that's
power,
number one. Yeah.
trust, power, collaboration.
You're a project manager and you have this team and you have to deliver something at next week, and there's this really great person who delivers, well, he's um, who's magnificent in his work, but also known as being late because he wants to do everything very, very well. And you as project manager needs to make sure he's delivering within 1 week. Well, you can say every day, well, how far are you, etc., and just be on his neck. Or no, don't do anything at the end of the week. Just say, well, I thought already, so you're not in time. Or you can just go up to him and say, or her, and say, well, I know you're really good in your work. How can I help you? What can we do? How can we work together just to make sure you can do your work? And I'm here to help. And that's the compassionate part. It's looking through the eyes of the other person instead of just only you as project manager, you have a goal to deliver. No, but that other person, your teammate, has a goal to deliver as well. And if you can look at from the other side, that's the powerful part.
Yes.
And
And,
yeah, and
and
I think that's more the female part, and but the leading part is still the male energy in that.
And it made me think about something that I'm talking about a lot recently, which is from pandemics onward, that the world kind of shifted into a more online thing,
Mm.
work mode, and then remotely, like digital nomads, freelancers, like we are kind of shifting to a more telematic way of working, and
Yeah,
this has as well um, changed the way in which we approach to others human beings, because computer makes us little less humans sometimes,
yeah,
and we kind of
yeah,
forget as well that there are people on the other
yeah,
side of the screens. So this
and that's the most
compassionate
important one. Yeah,
leadership is so important, not only in the physical aspect and like with teams, but also when there is remote teams, like people on the other side of the screen.
yeah.
How is
Yes, and what's the most important part, and that's why I wrote this chapter, because it's kind of goes back to, well, I'm teaching kind of happiness is a choice. That's my motto, like in life.
What's the name of the book? Sorry, can you say the name of the book?
The name of the book is Mindset Tools for Managers.
Mindset tool for managers. Wow,
Yeah.
I love
Well,
it.
it's a collaboration. It's not my book. It was a collaboration. So there are many authors contributing to the book, and it's an aspect of management, and many people delivered a chapter, just a different way. Everyone approaches the same topic. So that was really, really nice.
Wow. And what is
Yeah,
your chapter about?
sorry.
What is your chapter about?
My
What?
my chapter wasn't about um come on, just what I just mentioned is the and oh
The
my
compassionate leadership?
that compassionate leadership.
Okay.
I always struggle with compassionate. I don't know why. And that's why I sometimes think why I should have mentioned it differently. I don't know why, but it's compassionate leadership. And sometimes you see it. The word is completely gone from my vocabulary.
No, don't worry, don't worry. Yolanda, you know that I wrote an ebook in
Yeah.
12 hours with no AI. And sometimes, like, people ask me for the title of my book, and I don't really remember it. Like,
Yeah.
because I wrote it so fast that I don't even remember the title. But it was like
That's how it
40.
works, right? That's
Sorry?
perfect. That's how it works. I think that's perfect. That's
Yeah.
the way to go, right?
It was like,
Yeah.
I love challenges. And this was part of the challenge. Like a friend dropped me because I was speaking about how much I would love to write a book. I have like so many ideas, so many topics that I want to express, but I don't have the time to write a book. And he told me, "You're a project manager and you do very well with timings. Why don't you set yourself like a tight deadline?" And I said, like, okay, this is a great idea. Like a tight deadline, like what? And he's like, okay, it's 9 p.m. now. Why don't you write a book? It doesn't need to be a book, it could be an ebook for
Uh-huh.
tomorrow at 8 p.m. And I'm like,
Yeah.
tomorrow, 8 p.m.? Okay. So I accepted, you know? So next day, I went to the co-working place with this computer. I open up the computer 9 a.m. and I'm like, what the heck am I going to write about? I don't know. So I just started typing like I love challenges, blah 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 blah, and writing like automatic writing.
Oh,
By 5 p.m.,
yeah.
I had all the ebook in my Apple notes, in the notes in my
Yeah.
Apple.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
5 p.m. And have it of course like written and published. So at 5 p.m., I ended up writing the book. I put it on a Word. I formatted everything, turned it into PDF, and I published it. It's in Kindle and Hotmart, and people are actually buying it.
Oh, wow. Really?
Oh wow! So the title it's um, "Transform Your Life: The Epic Ways to Reinvention." And
Nice.
sometimes I receive in my Instagram, sometimes I receive messages from people saying like, "Hey Epi, I read your book. You made me cry. You're so inspiring. Thank you so
Wow.
much." And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that there are people reading it and it's like actually touching them. This is amazing. It's amazing
Wow.
your story can inspire others. Of course, and
Yeah.
that's another thing, that and it circles back to leadership. Like
Yeah.
I love deadlines. I mean, I'm the one who will push you to get this done, Like
Yeah.
I will give you time, I will push for more time if we don't get it. But I also believe that when you have a deadline, then you perform better because you
Yeah.
have like there a goal and a standard. And this is as well what I think about like life planning. So I apply this to everything. Like I can't really separate like work from life. For me, like
Uh-huh.
balancing
Yeah.
everything. And this is how I operate in life as well. Like whenever I want to achieve something, I work on like, okay, I want to achieve this like 5 years from now. And then I
Yeah.
do reverse engineering on the goal. And I said like, okay, if I want to get here, then I need to do this by this day. And I need to do this by this day. And just like milestones, because you understand as well that in the meantime, like life happens.
Yeah.
But setting like milestones, like small like dates, even like 3 or 4 milestones that help you out with keeping you center and just like moving
Yeah.
forward, right?
Yeah. I love that. And it really works. But for me, it's still. I was a project manager myself, but still in my personal life, it doesn't work that like that. But still, I know that deadlines. I have a deadline at the end of March. I need to deliver. a workshop about how to talk positively to children. At least that's my topic at that moment. And still, it's something I need to do, right? And I keep pushing it forward. Or I just want to also write a small giveaway just to give to the people who attended it and all those kind of things. And it's lingering on. And oh man, but the deadline is working because I know I have to deliver it. So there will be a day that I will just do it, and then, well, what you did with the book, well, within a few
And how
hours.
does it work for you? How do you do it?
How do I do that? It's for when I have this deadline, you mean?
Yes, like
Or
for example, now you have to write a book, and then I want to know about the positive talking to kids. That's super
yeah.
interesting. But first, I want to know, like, how do you do it? I mean, you need to write this. Do you wait until last time, until last minute, or how do you organize yourself?
Well, I just the funny thing is I already have some ideas, of course, and in the end it will fall back to how people, because if it's most of the people who attended will probably will be teachers and school, the head of the school, those kind of people who really work with people, with the children, not only parents. Of course, parents can join as well. But my main message behind it will be it's reflecting in how you talk to the children. And I just also wrote down a mirror. That's something which I will also use probably in this workshop, because the children are your mirror. Um, and that's so it's what I've done, that I use AI more to shorten my thoughts into a realistic way of working. I not this night, but the day before, I just woke up and I thought, oh my God, I didn't do anything already, and I have to do something. And I just used AI. I just spoke to a whole complete, like, oh, I really want this and that and that and that and that and that. And then I said, list it for me, so it's out of my head. And he listed it, but he just really also came with some suggestions. And I said, no, I just really, really wanted to more like what the adults are saying to themselves, or sometimes they are not aware that maybe you can um, encourage children, but still are thinking bad about yourself. Like, okay, like I'm delivering some math teachings the last past few weeks. So it's more on, I give some examples on how you teach math do you say math? Yeah, to children. And if you think yourself that you're not good in math, then you will kind of somehow it will slip into the language you use.
You mentioned one idea that I've been working for a long time now in myself as well, which is the words that we
The
use
what?
to ourselves, the words and the phrases
Yeah.
that we use to
Uh-huh.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And actually, the other day there was I went to the gym, and there was this lady just like fixing her hair in front of the mirror, and she was using the hair straightener.
Yeah.
She burned her hand.
Oh,
So I looked
oh,
at her and I said, like, are you okay? Like, you burn? And she's like, yeah, I'm so stupid. And I'm like, you're not stupid.
no.
You just burn your hand. I mean, it can happen. It's an accident. But like she looked at me and she started laughing because she's like, yeah, of course, I'm not stupid. But most of the times we do this without even realizing, because it's part of our reaction.
Yeah.
And we all have this. It's our reflex. I do this a
Yes.
lot. Like I drop something and I'm like, oh, how stupid. And then I'm like, I'm not stupid. So I just like call out myself saying like, you're not
Yeah.
stupid. But from these small things that are reactions and reflex that we don't even think about it, this also propagates to all of the other words that we use towards ourselves and of
Yeah.
course kids.
It's it's your own mindset first. If you
Do you
don't
have
have
any
that.
technique? Do you have any technique?
Now it's for me it's what you mentioned is catching your own words. Is remembering every time, like you say, well, it's perfectly what you said. This woman just burned her hand and say, I'm stupid. That's something. which some people say, well, it's cynical and I don't mean it like that. But somehow it came out of your mouth, the first thing you said. But so somehow it's ingrained in you. And what I just teach people is just to listen to the words they say, and every time catch or every day catch at least one word or one sentence which doesn't sound that nice, which you wouldn't have told a friend. And
Mm.
that's the main thing. Would you say if a friend burned a hand, oh, that's stupid? No, never would you have done that. You wouldn't even think it, because sometimes you say something and you think, oh yeah, that's stupid. But still, it's you don't even think that's stupid. And that's the thing. That's your level of knowing that it's not correct what you say.
And then another thing that I notice as well, and I start changing, is like, for example, instead of saying little by little, using step by step. This is not the same, you know, you're speaking from scarcity, and step by step, it's a different vibe. And we use
Yeah,
all the time, you know, or oh, I can't do this, or I don't know, you know, like maybe I can learn. So
yeah.
changing the words change actually your reality. I truly believe that.
Yeah, and that's true. And that's because if I can't say like things like I can't do that, and words like always and never. I won't say that because it's never true that something is never true.
There is always an example that
That's always,
contradicts the
yeah.
rule.
Yeah, so I can say I'm always like this. Well, no, you just do it
No.
like this. You did it before, but it's not always, right? And those kind of all these kind of words you can. I really want to kind of create maybe I just something I have to write down. Kind of a dictionary of words we have to prevent from using in your language,
The
like
poor
don't,
language,
can't.
like
Yeah,
scarcity language or poor language, by abundance language in some way.
yeah, I need to write it down. Sorry. Just scarcity dictionary. That's a lot.
That's really
Sorry.
good. Yeah, great idea.
Maybe. Sorry. Scarcity. Is it scarcity dictionary? Hmm.
I love it.
Yeah, because that's a dictionary we don't have yet this moment yet in the world.
I love it. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love
Yeah,
this idea.
which words, and then the end titles, which words to prevent from your language, something like that. Well,
Yes, and how to replace them.
yeah,
And you take something very sometimes challenging for everybody, which is listen to yourself.
yeah, yeah. And it's and that's how I used to do it, because it's well I just listen to people, kind of spiritual teachers, telling how you can manifest, and what you think about is what you get, right? And it's but it's not completely what you think about. It's more like how you feel, how your energy is, right? You can still think, well, I'm looking good, I'm fine, but still, if you deep down inside, you still feel worthless. It's still, it's you can't manifest completely, and
Yes.
this feeling of what you maybe have, for example, then if you feel worthless because someone told you when you were a child, and you still don't believe it, it ends up in your wording, which you use in your head, and sometimes you just use it also in the language you use to other people. So that's the yeah.
Yes. And then recognizing like the power that we have as creators of our own life and our own reality, because these words of like they are the surface, but they
Yes.
come from our beliefs about ourselves, the world, our skills, our limitations, shadows, however you want to call it. This is all coming from the inside. But what is
Yes.
good about the world and our reality is that when you start changing and switching, like the small things on the surface, then your brain also adapts and it
Hmm.
starts changing things in the background. And this is also related to compassion.
Yes.
Like be
Because
compassionate, not only.
you can't help them if you don't help yourself, and that's the most important thing. And I think that's becoming more evident. But some people really need to know why they have to change. And some people, most of the people, don't think themselves as important enough to put money in, to change, or to put effort in it, and that they deserve it. And then you can say, well, you deserve it, and then say, yeah, I really would love to work on that inner critic, but I can't do that, and that's fine. But once they know, they hand it over to their children or in the circumstances, and they're, although they love them, yeah, to the moon and back. But if you just give them kind of the shit in your own head without knowing to your own children, then you realize, oh my God, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Everybody has their own unique path and way to discover these
Uh-huh.
things. It's amazing how kids are the biggest mirror,
Yeah.
also partners, like couples,
Yeah.
family, you know, mom, dad, they're everybody is like a big mirror. It's just like the people who surrounds us, and especially kids because they are honest and they are transparent. But whenever you realize that you are either speaking about, like with poor language or scarcity words towards yourself, or when you are not really there for like not up to the situation, but being like compassionate for yourself neither, and you recognize that you need either to change and you can do it
Mm.
by yourself, or maybe you need others to help you out in this transition. Because what I discovered as well, and this is where us like mentors, coaches enter
Yeah.
to the picture, right? Like I
Yeah.
discovered myself that in this society puzzle that we are in, most of the times you need somebody to hold your hand and take you there,
Yes.
you know? And most of the people that go through your life do this without even you realizing it.
Yeah.
But when
True.
you realize that you need this support and there is nobody in your surroundings that can do it, then this is when you go out and you look for it yourself. And you're like, oh, not only realizing that, oh, I need to change my language, but also who can help me out in achieving this, in do this, in transition through this.
Yes.
This is so inspiring because you know as well that you came here to help others, to hold somebody else's hand, and then somebody else
Yes.
will hold your
Yes.
hand. So it's like super inspiring. I love this idea of how society works, and definitely this can be as well expanded into leadership and being compassionate towards yourself. If you do it towards yourself, then you can do it towards others. And I
Yes.
love that now we are in this phase in society, you know, that we are walking towards the compassionate side of the things and that we are really caring about these
Yeah.
topics.
Yes. And I think it's with the new generation, which is now starting to also transition from school life to work to the working life. You see also, like you travel around the world, and there's so many people who can't work in this strict, I would say, male dominated, but it's not. It's more is the male energy. It's like dominating way of leadership. It's not working anymore, and it's because of COVID that people start working from home more, and now it's kind of, well, it's the beginning of this new era of a different way of leading, and a different way of how to look at your own life. And I think um, it's not, you hear that a lot of young people are kind of depressed because I don't think they feel like how they fit in this old system, which they still is the companies, if they are led with people who are my
Yeah.
age, my age and older. I'm 52, but it's still this kind of the old way of working. It's not doesn't fit with their personality anymore. So we have to change. I think
Yes.
for the whole society and the way
Yes.
we work together.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's good because the only constant in life is changing. That's the only constant is change. Like you
yeah,
go through a million changes in your life. So if you are not used to it, then you will drown. The other day, I've heard something that actually stick to my mind, and it's really related to this, which is that's your brain. You know, like your brain do like try to do everything that it's on its power to keep
yeah,
repeating the same stuff, doing the same stuff because it
yeah,
wants to protect you. It's like your
yeah.
ego, you
Keep
know,
you safe.
ego mechanisms, which I call bullshit mechanisms because they are there to just like, limit you. But
Uh-huh.
then kind of your soul knows where you're going and what you need to do next. But most of the time, we shut this based on our limits that we have,
Yeah,
programs that
yeah,
we have in our mind, because everything is like a program. And as we were discussing before, as we are like powerful creators, we create everything that we have in our minds, Like at certain age, we can't blame anymore our childhood, our parents, like everything, like circumstances and everything. No, this is you. You have the power to change your brain, change your reality, and just like be where you want to be.
yeah. True. Completely.
Wow, I freaking love this. This is inspiring.
The earth is shifting quickly to people who are always open for this, and so I really love how we talk about this, and like you mentioned, like your topic which you want to talk about, you will probably see in if you're on this conference that many people have different topics, and in the end, it's all the same message.
Yes.
we just
Have
approach
different ways
we just
to
approach
land the
it from
same
a
message.
whole different ways. Yeah, yeah. It's the same message. It's believe in yourself. You can do it, and listen to your heart. And this is the ego, and it's this. It's amazing, and
There are
yeah,
different ways to land the same message. And I believe as well that, well, I don't know, like it's like the egg of the chick or the chicken, right?
yeah,
I don't
uh-huh,
know if I'm speaking about this topic and just like meeting people I like because I'm now in this, that everybody operates from their own level of consciousness. So I'm not sure if
yeah,
I'm meeting people that I like because I'm thinking this or if everybody is just like switching their mindset. But what gave me like traveling around the world and discovering all of these new cultures is that actually there are people who
true.
don't want to know, they don't believe, they don't want to change. That's fine as well. I mean, there are people who don't really care about this.
Um, I don't want to say you're not born this way, but it's something which came on our path, right? With these topics, we didn't discuss this 10 years ago, right? We had a different life. Might be that we still resonated with it, but still, we had a different life now. But now we're open because you heard people telling about it, reading about it, and then say, well, it resonates. It must somehow, it is like that, right? It's something, it feels really true to you. And the people who are not open to it, they still hear it every time a little bit, just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. And they just shift and shift. And every time you just shift a bit. And that's the main purpose. That's why we're here. That's the only thing, is to make people a little bit more aware. And some people are really open to it. Some people say they are not open to it. They refuse it, but still they hear it. And once they are open, then they start to like, oh my God, you told me something 5 years ago about this topic, and I just ran into it again, and I heard it again, and tell me about it. That's how it works.
And then there are some situations in which you hear something, you listen to something, and you are not there yet. Because I remember that my spiritual guide, I was doing Taoism in Argentina with Carmen. I love her. She's from Taiwan.
Yeah.
She used to talk to me a lot when I was like 20 years old about the
Yeah.
purpose, like my purpose, and that I had these ideas to live in Spain and do things in Spain. And she
Right.
used to tell me, maybe you had something to do with Spain in your previous life, and maybe your purpose. And I didn't capture like the purpose idea at that point. I thought I was understanding what she was telling me,
Yeah.
wasn't, until I found my purpose and I said, oh my gosh, this is what Carmen was speaking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Back then it
sometimes
didn't
you're
make
not
sense.
ready.
Now, yeah.
You're not ready. Wow,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really, well, that's just, you just tell your story to the people who want to listen, and the other people just, they hear sentences and they will incorporate it later to a whole new story when they're ready for it. And that's the compassionate part which we also have. And I already you mentioned that you had it like, oh, if people don't get it, that's fine.
Everything that happens is to either teach you something, put you in a situation that you needed to be, even when it's like so hard and so difficult to cope with and to understand and to see from now, then the dots connect. So
Yeah.
it's like, and it happened to me as well, in many situations, you know, it's like when you're, because it's easier to see it on others, of course, when you tell your best friend, like, hey, don't you realize that this guy is a douchebag? Like, drop him, like you don't have to be with him anymore, he treats you like shit. But she doesn't want to see it until she doesn't click, then
Yeah.
nothing will change, because we are like that. We need to realize by ourselves. And I've been myself in this situation many times when I'm like, yeah, I know what you're telling me, but you know what, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
not there
that's
yet.
That's the perfect example. Yeah, for relationships, it's the same. You used to tell people, "Why don't you leave?" Well, I'm not there yet because
Why
you
don't
still
you
have.
leave? And I'm like, I know I have to leave, but
Yeah,
I
I
can't
can't.
yet.
Yeah,
I don't want yet. I'm not ready yet. And that's fine as well. I mean, we're all grabbing the resources and growing this strength, this inner strength that we have. And I consider myself with a lot of strength and power, but sometimes I don't have the power within me, or maybe I need help.
yeah,
And then I
yeah,
go and
right.
find the support that I need. So
Yeah,
sometimes it's a friend, sometimes it's my mom, sometimes it's a mentor, sometimes it's my therapist, sometimes it's a sport and it's my bike, whatever, like what fits you, you know.
yeah.
Um,
And be kind to yourself. Some people like say, well, sometimes it takes 5 years to leave a bad relationship, and some people say, well, oh my God, 5 years wasted. Well, at least the word wasted should be in my dictionary because it's never wasted.
he should be in your dictionary.
Like, well, it's then you're beating yourself up that you're now here and you weren't there 5 years ago. Why? Because you have to learn everything in between, and you're now here because of what you've learned all these 5 years, right? That's it's not wasted. It's a learning program. It's like going to school and then doing your exam and saying, well, I don't know why I had to go to school 5 years because now I have my exam. Why did I use 5 years at school? It's something like that. Well, you don't blame the 5 years at school. You're graduated and now you know.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that,
Everything happens for a reason. Everything has a learning inside.
yeah,
Everything. And then you learn that the most difficult situations in your life are actually the ones that you can help other people with
yes,
that experience.
yeah. That's why so many people are coaches on life, on divorces, on trauma, because they went through it themselves.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And that's like your unique way, you know, because you
yeah,
have these experiences in life that others are going through, so you can
yeah,
help out. And then the rest of the things that you learn along the way help you out to stand out and be unique for that specific person. in that specific
Yes.
situation. So this is what I
Yeah.
love as well, that you can actually combine. Like I used to think that all of the things that I've studied and done in my life, it had like nothing to do with anything, like lawyer, notary, events producer, project manager. Now like moving, and I've always been super interested about like ideas, innovation, people, leading teams, startups. I used to go to every seminar on startup that I could.
Yeah.
At some point, I thought, like, why am I doing all of this? It has nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything. But now everything is just like falling in the right place in the epic
Now you
world.
know.
You know,
Yeah.
everything makes so much sense now.
Yes.
And some people tell me that you're a bit crazy, and I am a bit crazy.
Crazy is good, right? Because crazy is different than the others. That's the only thing what crazy is. Crazy is different than someone
I love
else.
my craziness, you know. I hope
Which
that
is
everybody can be crazy as me because it's
me.
just
Yes.
amazing. My life is amazing. I love what I do. I love everybody that I cross paths with, you know. Everything is just like so amazing and an opportunity. So it's changing the perspective and what you were saying about like mindset, how you look about things, how you talk to yourself, uh, collaboration, compassionate, everything.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
so powerful, so powerful. And when you're in that frequency, just like good things happen to you.
Yes. Also, always. And even if you can consider it bad, it's something you have to learn something from, which is then in the end it's a good thing.
Yes,
What I mentioned about what I thought I was might lose my apartment, something good came out of that because I really know what my life purpose is because I really got confirmed at that moment that this is what I'm going to do. And yeah, it's I love that. It's amazing. And
so nice. Oh, I hope that I can meet you in person, Jolanda.
well,
Wow.
I've already come out of the Netherlands, so maybe you can come to Amsterdam again.
Well, oh, thank you so much for your time. Everything will be fine, will be good. Let's continue with this outlook that we have in life. I'm sending you a lot of love and energy and kisses. Thank you so
Yes, well, I'll talk to you later, and thank you, and have a very nice and beautiful weekend.
Thank you. You too. Much love, Jolanda. So nice to
Okay.
meet you. So nice to meet you.